Welcome back to Cultural Geography. Hope you all enjoyed your 4-day weekend and had a happy Easter, celebrating with family, maybe friends. Assuming most of you weren't able to go to an Easter service, hopefully you all were able to listen to one online or on the radio. We might not have been able to celebrate Easter like the world sees Easter, with Easter egg hunts and the Easter bunny and getting all the candy that we can find. Maybe that didn't happen this Easter break, but we can still be thankful. We can still remember why we celebrate Easter. It's because Jesus rose from the grave. He is risen indeed, and we can be thankful for that fact, for that belief in that. Again, hopefully you all had a good weekend. This is the first video of week 3, so you should have picked up your week 3 packets by this point, dropped off your second week packets. Good job to all of you turning in your packets on the first week. You guys were actually the very first class to turn in all of your packets on time. So thank you for that. Remember, of course, if you're missing any homework or anything from the activities book, make sure you get that turned in as soon as possible as well. Also, don't forget about the bonus assignment that I assigned last week. It will be due when we take the Chapter 18 test. We're just starting Chapter 18, so you've still got a time. Reminder, refer back to the previous video if you forgot what the bonus assignment was. Lastly, hopefully you all got to enjoy less work needing to be done in week 2's packet. You might recall week 1 was pretty busy. Week 2 was pretty laid back. This one will be somewhere in the middle as we get started into this 4-day week. We're at Roman numeral 3. Remember, we're in the cultural metaphor for Turkey. The cultural metaphor for Turkey is Turkish Coffeehouse, and we are at Roman numeral 3 of that handout. One more thing. For the cultural metaphors, you don't need to turn those notes in at all. If you do, they're going to end up in the trash can. So please keep those for yourself. All I need are your homeworks, quizzes, and tests. If for some reason you feel like you need to turn in those notes because you don't want to unstaple anything from anything else, okay, that's fine. Just know it's going in the trash. And if, say, for example, you turned in your Turkey cultural metaphor with your week 2 packet, it's already in the trash can. So I'm sorry. You'll have to take the notes the old-fashioned way, but that's how it's going to work. You need to make sure you hold on to your notes, hold on to your maps, so that you will be able to do well on the upcoming test. All right, Roman numeral 3, a male domain. A Turkish coffee house is a place where men assemble throughout the day, and it is a favorite pastime for men of all ages. Young boys accompany their fathers and play alongside the tables until they are old enough to join discussions. Old men will sit back and reminisce and offer words of wisdom to solve all the world's problems. You know how that goes. People have all the answers to all life's problems. They just wish people would listen to them as they explain it. While women are welcome in the coffee house has always been considered a male domain. There's a long tradition of men as breadwinners, leaders of the family unit, and the decision makers which exist in Turkey. The coffee house is a location for meetings and discussions for the good of the family. Within the traditional family, a father's request is always obeyed, and Turkish fathers are especially protective of their daughters. Roman numeral 4, a modest environment. The simplicity of the coffee house itself is noteworthy. The furniture is basic, the chairs are uncomfortable. There's usually one room, a kitchen, and several small wooden or aluminum tables and chairs. Cigarette smoke fills the air and is usually loud with much conversation going on from the talking customers. To many Turkish people, they are more concerned with substance than form. That goes for coffee houses, but that also goes for how people communicate and talk. Italians are kind of the opposite. They're more concerned about how they perform in front of others. Well, the Turks, they care more about what is done, what is said, than how it's said. The coffee house is an opportunity for release and self-indulgence. The release is only temporary, allowing escape from the stress or monotony of the moment, and the indulgence reflects the element of Turkish culture that says, experience life. They tend to live in the same buildings for years, where they're surrounded by family and friends. Turks have little fear of consequences for failing to respect laws. Along with loose interpretations of traffic signals, patience is not a Turkish strong suit. In the morning when people are going to work, it's every man for himself as he fights to find an open seat on the bus. Most coffee houses are family-run establishments. A coffee house does not provide food, but they do not mind if customers come in with food. They know that if a customer brings food with them, they will be purchasing more beverages as well. Coffee houses invite customers to remain as long as they wish. Not the same in some American restaurants, right? You spend a little too time in a crowded restaurant, they might try to, as respectfully as possible, ask you to hurry up, pay, and leave because you're taking up space for more paying customers. Well, for them, they want you to stay. They want you to spend time in the coffee house because guess what? The longer you stay, the more likely that you will purchase more drinks. Roman numeral 5, life outside the coffee house. There are popular misconceptions about the role of women in Turkey. Although Turkey is a Muslim majority country, women have more rights in Turkey than in most Middle East or Asian countries for that matter. Turkish women have always been capable of subtly influencing their husband's way of thinking, yet they are also brought up to show respect to their husband. A wife may disagree with something the husband thinks, but rather than arguing and fighting over it, offering small suggestions may do a better job at gaining compliance to her wishes. You've heard this concept. Honey is easier to swallow than vinegar. The idea is speaking nicely, speaking kindly, that's more likely to help you get your way than arguing and bittering and fighting and bashing each other over the issue. They are responsible for meals, housework, and childcare. Turkish kitchens are busy all day long as meals are prepared. More recently, women have also been allowed to work outside of home in certain types of jobs. Respect for parents is absolute. In turn, parents are expected to be concerned about their children's future. Men are required to serve 18 months in the Turkish military. Free education is provided through elementary school. Free education is provided through elementary school. Sometimes the school has to be taught in half-day shifts. School years are from September to June, and days off are given for Muslim religious days. A dress code is required in all public schools. Students normally stand when a teacher enters the room, and it's considered disrespectful to disagree with the teacher. Oh, that sounds like a wonderful thing. I knew there was something about Turkey that I appreciated. After the 5th grade, an exam is given to see what the child's future path of study should be. The smartest children will make it into private high schools and then be tested before making it to a university. The rest of the children will be put into a general high school and then put into a vocational or technical school to learn a trade. Humor is a good way to make friends and maintain friendships. Turkish humor is often distinctive, and Turks do not mind making fun of themselves, and it is used frequently. When things become too serious, a joke is welcome to strike a balance and provide relief. For example, Turkish coffee is served in a small cup and has a thick, almost muddy consistency, apparently really strong. It is usually served with a glass of water. A popular joke involves the differentiating between Turks and foreigners. The difference? Turks drink the water first to clean their palates. Foreigners take the water after the coffee to wash it down. Here's another joke. Haja was walking down the street when he noticed something glittering in the gutter. He ran over to pick it up and noticed it was a small metal mirror. He looked in it and said to himself, "No wonder they threw this thing away. I wouldn't keep something as ugly as this either." The joke being is he saw his own reflection and said it was ugly. Ha ha ha. I know. Some of you guys took a while to get that joke. They used to avoid confrontation and conflict. They use humor to avoid confrontation and conflict. And then lastly, Turks are generally quite modest about their accomplishments. Italians wish to be wealthy, or at least to appear to be wealthy. Turks, on the other hand, do not. They prefer to be modest in their accomplishments. All right, let's answer the 5 questions, because I know that's all what you were hoping for anyways. See how well you guys would have done. Raise your hand if you think that Turkish people are process-oriented. Or do you think that they are goal-oriented? The correct answer is process-oriented. They are process-oriented. Raise your hand if you think they're expressively emotional. Raise your hand if you think, not so much. Correct answer is expressively emotional. Do you think that they are individualistic or collectivistic? Correct answer is they are collectivistic. Do you think that they have a high power ranking or a low power ranking? Do they have respect for authority, or do you think everyone's equal? The answer is they have a high power ranking. And lastly, do you think that they are past-oriented or future-oriented? The best answer is both. Yeah, please write both down for the cultural metaphor. Make sure you write that down on the test if I ask that question. They're not past, they're not future, they are both. That's all we're going to cover for today. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Be good, do good. Bye.